Are you ready to rock your business during these challenging times?
Welcome to this week's episode of Biz Success in 15, where top experts share hot tips and strategies that you can implement in as little as 15 minutes to build your dream business. And now here's your host, the Visibility Whiz, Cindy J.
Hi, I'm Cindy J, the Visibility Whiz. And today I'm speaking with Lia Dunlap. And she's going to show you how to develop a mindset of prosperity, the real reason why most conscious entrepreneurs are going broke, and how to say goodbye to your money fears once and for all. Welcome, Lia. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you for having me, Cindy J. I really appreciate you having me on your show so I can share with your audience today.
It's definitely our pleasure. Can you share a personal or business challenge that you had to overcome in order to achieve your level of success?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, of course. I am not without my own challenges in my own past and life. And I know that for me, the biggest challenge I had that kind of led right before my biggest breakthrough really was really coming to head with how I was going to show up as a business owner, as a business person. And I find that a lot of people struggle with that when they are service related, especially like me. They either have some intuitive gift or they have a service that is helping people. It's really hard to get out of the mindset that the service is all that is needed. But there is that business structure. You have to look at your business like a business. And so being able to kind of look at my own work and see that if I could take it to the next level, it really had to be a true business. I had to treat it just like I would treat all of the work that I had done before when I worked in the corporate world. I had to take my corporate skills and experience in sales and marketing and operations and use them for my own work so that I could actually create a structure and a practice and an operational procedure for the work that I was doing, that I couldn't just show up and do one-on-one work anymore. If I really wanted to grow my business, I really had to look at it as a business. And for me, that looked like really feeling like my clients had depleted. I was exhausted from doing, so much of the work by myself, and feeling like I got to a point where I got my taxes, and I was getting my taxes back, and I saw that I had lost money that year. And when I looked at that number, I realized I had worked so hard all year with groups and individuals. And I said to myself, it's like I paid to work with them. And that's when it hit me. I've just been paying all year so I could help these people. This is not good business sense, right? I mean, I've loved the people I work with. I was happy with the work I was doing, but I was doing it in such a way that it was literally like my mind just looked at the number and said, oh my gosh, I literally paid to work with people instead of the other way around. That is a problem. That is not good business. And I looked at that number and it really sunk in that I had to change. I had to take responsibility, and I had to look at my numbers as a real business professional. And like I said, I had to gather all of those skills and techniques and things I had learned all of those years in working in the corporate world and put them to use for myself in my own business so that I could help more people and survive and thrive so that I could still be here years and years later.
Exactly. That's so important. I think sometimes with service-based, a lot of coaches, entrepreneurs, service-based professionals, they are thinking, hey, I'm a helper. I'm helping people, instead of getting that mindset, I am a business owner, and treating it like a business. I started coaching in 2009, and in 2011, I was able to take an early retirement from social services. And about a year after I retired from the county, I was filling out some paperwork somewhere, and it said, where are you employed? And I kept writing retired. So even though I'm sitting here coaching everybody, I did not have that mindset either. I'm like, and I started thinking, wait a second, I'm not retired. I am a business owner. And so
Right.
it's making that decision. You are a business owner, and it really changes your whole outlook on what you're doing and how you're doing it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the other flip side of that is typically when people say, they fall, when I work with clients, what I see is they can also do the other way, which is they fall into an employee mindset. It's like, no, you're not an employee anymore. You're the owner. This is all on you. You know, your hours, the way you work, what you get paid, shifting all of those pieces. It does require looking at your business differently. And it can help you in the long run, because as a business owner, you kind of step out of the emotional attachment, right? As a business
Right.
owner, and you look at the numbers, and that's a big piece.
Exactly, exactly. And if you want to have a fun and thriving business that really provides the happy lifestyle you want, it's important to be a business owner and not an employee in your business, for you to take charge, look at the numbers, and get the help that you need.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I totally agree.
And to move on, again, we're going through some really tough times. And even if somebody is listening to this a year from now, after the pandemic's over, I know everything that Lia is going to say is still going to be very impactful on how you move forward. And Lia, what I heard you say is that people should not be thinking that they're on a pause or a reset right now. So can you elaborate and share your thoughts on why people shouldn't pause or put themselves on reset?
I love it. Especially like you said, I mean, yes, of course, right now we're talking the time of a pandemic, but it doesn't really matter. We have all gone through times in our lives and our businesses where things are difficult for a lot of reasons, and sometimes out of our control. But right now, the reason, that I am so passionate about sharing this particular message is that I got a download from the Oracle, which is my intuitive guide, who said, right now, 2020, this is not just about resetting.
No problem.
Instead, what's really important to remember is that why all of our energy and the movements and the flux that's happening right now, energetically and on a global level, from a consciousness perspective, we are really close to the veil of where consciousness shifts. And because of that, we have the capacity right now to rocket our businesses instead of pull back. And when people see it as just like time to pause or time to reset, they're not really taking full advantage of the energy that we have that's behind us right now. And one of the bigger risks, honestly, is that if you use this time, or you don't use this time, excuse me, if you don't use this time to really lean into what you're really doing, what you really want to have happen, whatever your big vision is for your business or your world, then you are missing out on a time in our lives that we will not see for another 100 years, per the Oracle. She's saying this is a time that won't come again for 100 years. And hello, most of us listening to this are over 30. So unless you think you're going to live past 130, this is the time to really take advantage of it. And instead of looking at it as a way to just pause or reset, looking at it as a way to pivot and or expand what parts of your work and your business and the way you do business, so that you can take full advantage of the energetic shift that's already happening. And the bigger risk, again, if you do not, isn't that you're going to go back just to where you were. And this is the piece that's so important. You will plummet backwards. And that's the risk. You will go back to a point where you may not be able to recover, and your business may not be able to recover. And in fact, she said this will be like going back, not just to the beginning of this year or this time frame, but to years ago when we were all struggling in 2008 and 2009, when the world was really going through a tumult again. So it's like, unless you want your business to really tumult backwards, it behooves you to take advantage of what's happening right now, as it is very fertile and potent time, and put it intentionally forward how you want to do things differently and better. She keeps saying this is about broader and better service for your people, for your skills, for your services, whatever they are. How can you do it better? How can you reach more people? How can you utilize all of this technology that we're now kind of forced into using? How can you use it to serve your people better? Not just more, but better. So yeah, that is like number one message that I got from the Oracle about 2020. And I've really been excited to share it because I feel like this is our time to really stand up and make that change.
I 100% agree with you. And what is it that you say to people? You know, there are people out there that are afraid, and I have been sort of surprised at some of the people that's even reached out to me. People who I used to once think of as mentors are reaching out to me, asking me how I'm thriving and how I'm staying so positive through all this. And it's very interesting to me, you know, just what I'm seeing. But so many people are like, nobody has money, nobody's going to buy from me, or the world is never going to be the same. We just have to ride it out because things are going to get worse. And how can I ask somebody to give me money whenever things are so bad? So when you hear these statements, what are you telling people?
Wow. So there's a couple of things going on there, right? First of all, I also talked about this the other day, fear and money. They're so interlinked. I was at the front lines of the banking industry during 9/11. I was there the morning in a customer service center when the calls were going crazy and people were panicked. And the first thing they did was worry about money. So my answer now is the same as it would have been then, which is what our story is about money is ours. It's our story, right? So we have to fix that story. And that's the other thing that's happening right now. All of this stuff that's coming up, every fear that's rising up for people right now, it's doing it so that you can actually, as a leader especially, take care of it. Look it in the eye and make it different. Create a different story. Because again, we're going to have, there's going to be ebb and flow in any business, in any lifetime. There will be other times when things are tough. So what are you going to do? Mm-hmm. How are you going to do it differently? And I had a client the other day who was a doctor who, she was talking about how excited she was during this time to be making more than she'd made the month before. And then she started to feel guilty. And so we had this very conversation, which is why people are wanting and needing your service to help them get through this. You of all people, I said to her, are needed right now. And people are willing to pay you because they need your service. And there's nothing wrong with being paid. Plus, on top of that, so everybody listens to this piece, when we talk about money, we need to talk about flow. We need to talk about source, and that the universe doesn't happen to us, it happens through us. That means when we receive money for the work that we do and are able to then put money back into the world right now, that is a benefit to everyone. And when you have an internal conversation, right, that fear conversation about money, ask yourself, what do I believe about money? Because that's what's really coming up. Right? It's not even about this time. It's about what do I believe about money? Because the other thing is she was doing really well. She went to speak to a fellow doctor, both making the same amount of money right now. The other doctor was like panicking. What's going to happen? They have the same financial picture and two different stories. So to answer the question, really, it is how we look at it and how we, kind of how we show up to that. If we are having that kind of panic feeling about it, ask bigger questions. And ultimately right now, it's like, it's okay if these fears are coming up. It is what you do with it though, when they do. Like when they come up, are you using them as evidence that things are going poorly? Or are you using them as an opportunity to fix a story that's been broken in you for a long time? Right? That's been challenging you on your limits for a long time. It's just now coming up and being like really obvious, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And really stepping through the fears and changing your story about it is what's going to help you come out the other side better and stronger, as just walking through the fears, taking action. And I personally right now, and I've told my clients this, I'm going, if somebody says they're not afraid and have never experienced a fear, you know, run for the hills, because they're not telling you the truth, because all of us have had our moments. But the leaders, we are working through our fears and we're taking action so that we can be of service and help other people.
Absolutely. Yeah. It isn't about, like I said, it isn't about not having fear. I've
Mhm.
had my moments for sure. And then I have to go back to my work, right? Like
Right.
you have to go back to your work. Like for me, I have a process and it's like, okay, well, we're in like a lot of fear today. What are we going to do about that? Like, we're not going to, I used to say this phrase I learned from a mentor a long time ago, which is, it's okay to go through hell. Just don't sit down and make a picnic. And that's my little like, hey, get up. I get it. This is hard right now, but
Yeah.
don't sit down there and make a picnic about it. Just get up and do something. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I just like, I know this picture in my head. Who wants to have a picnic in hell? So stop having a picnic there.
Yeah, you know, it does kind of shock you into like going, yeah, wait a minute. I'm not going to stay here. This isn't helping anything.
Right. Lia, can you share the real reason that most conscious entrepreneurs go broke and how they can use that one missing piece to bridge the gap between what they want and how they can get it?
Yes, thank you. That's a really important question. And this kind of ties back to, you know, I'm a law of manifestation master coach, and I've been doing this work for 25 years. And when I started out, what I recognized was there were, you know, a lot of conscious leaders that tied into this theory, which is what I call false monkism. And the false monkism is that if I just do my work, then I don't have to worry about money. Like money is not for me to worry about, right? So they get to this place where they think that they don't have to deal with it, or
Mhm.
that they literally then are pushing it away. And so they create, unfortunately, a self-fulfilling prophecy of never making any money, because they've created a belief system within themselves that said, making money for my gift to the world, is wrong, bad, you know, not conscious, right? Like it's like, I'm not an enlightened person if I make money. And that is one of the big misconceptions, misbeliefs that keeps people trapped, even though they are doing valuable, important work. And sometimes tirelessly, they aren't able to break through and become not only successful, but thriving financially, because they are stuck in that loop of this idea of false monkism. Like somehow the universe will provide for them, but they're not receiving anything, right? They've got this block that says, well, the universe is trying to give you money and you keep blocking it by saying, I shouldn't be worried about money. It should just come to you. It's like, yes, but you have to have a relationship with it that is positive and receptive. And if you don't, then you will shut down that. You've consciously shut it down, and it's not going to come through to you. And therefore, as we were talking about before, you can't have a functioning business. You can have a nice hobby, sometimes an expensive one if you're the one actually, like I said, for me, who gets the numbers and says, oh my gosh, I've literally been paying people so that they can work with me. That's not a good business practice. So that's one big piece. And the thing to do, the way to get from where you are to where you want to go, is to uncover any of these beliefs that are basically creating blocks to your financial security, your self-confidence, and your ability to build your practice as an actual functioning business.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And if they are what you call a false monk, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It
False
really,
monkism.
false monkism. And I would believe that those that are walking around with the false monkinism, they're truly not happy. They're not living their values. They're not living their dreams. And because they're, because if they're afraid to make money and thinking the money is going to just come to them, they have this constant struggle inside of them. I need the money to live, but I'm a bad person if I earn it, and I should just wait for the universe for it just to rain money on me.
Yes, exactly. Somehow I'm going to get the money, but I'm not going to take the money. It's like the logic itself. Like if you just look at the logic, you're like, that's not how that works. And yeah, it becomes this thing where like, that's the self-fulfilling prophecy, right? You can't get out of that loop until you change your true beliefs about money and prosperity. And that's ultimately at the back of it all. That's what's going to either propel you forward or hold you back.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful, wonderful conversation, Lia. And to move on, can you share a business strategy, a hot tip that we can take right now that's going to help us build our business that'll take us 15 minutes or less?
Yes. I love to do a process which I call the purpose and prosperity map, right? It's something that you can do really quickly, especially if you find yourself in overwhelm. This is a great, quick, bring everything together and focus, which I think focus is so important. And so many people get overwhelmed right now. And especially when things are challenging, you can get really easily overwhelmed. So I always say, let's go back to basics, right? So the purpose and prosperity map basically is 5 steps that you can just either take a piece of paper or a journal and write these down. So the first one is, number 1 is to clarify your purpose. This is really important. This is why. This is bigger than even your why that a lot of people talk about. This is like why you are here. Like, know that you're here on purpose in the universe. There is a 1 in 400 quadrillion, that's a 4 with 17 zeros behind it, chance of you being born. So it's not an accident. There is a purpose for you to be here. And once you know that, you can kind of put your mind into a state of saying, okay, so what is my purpose? And in your work, hopefully they're aligned, right? So hopefully your business work and your purpose work, they're aligned. So the number 1 is clarify your purpose. Write that down, like literally write it out. And then number 2 is know your numbers. I'm shocked sometimes to know people don't know where they are standing today. Sometimes we have a feeling and then you don't know your numbers, and then you're like working off of a misconception. And right now, again, this is in any kind of trying time, you want to stop and look at the real numbers. Like, what do you really have in the bank? What do you really have coming in for accounts receivable? What do you really have on the books that you need to take care of? Write your numbers down. Like, where do you stand? Where are your numbers? Number 3, reconnect or connect to your spiritual source. I don't care what it is. I hold no sway over anyone. I just believe that if we can tap into whatever we feel is our spiritual source every day, we're going to be buoyed. We're going to be supported. We're going to feel lighter. Our load will feel lighter. And hopefully, at least, right? And then hopefully we'll also get some inspiration. So number 3, just take a few minutes to just really tap in and pray, meditate, whatever it takes for you to do, whatever you need to do to connect. And then 4, create a practical plan. Create a step for that, a plan for that day. It says, like, who am I going to call today? What am I going to move today? What part of my business am I going to actually participate in today? And who do I need to talk to? And that's actually 5. 5 is get accountability and support. So looking at those 4, ask yourself, where do I need to get someone else to help me? Like, do I need to reach out for somebody to help support and share what I'm up to and what I'm doing? Do I need actually a sounding board? Do I need a coach to say, hey, I've got this idea and I'm not even sure where to start? Like, make sure that somewhere you're not an island and you are looking for and receiving, again, back to receiving support. So 1, clarify your purpose. 2, know your numbers. 3, reconnect with your spiritual source. 4, create a practical plan for the day. And then 5, make sure you get support and accountability about that.
That's a great, great, great strategy. Thank you very, very much for sharing that with us, Leah. And I know that you have a wonderful gift for us. So can you share a little bit about it?
Right. So I am going to, in this actually ties into what we are just talking about, which is that clarifying your purpose. And as I mentioned, aligning your purpose and your business genius. So all the things that you're working on in your business, once they're attuned, it really does help to have the universe kind of at your back. So what I'm offering is a chance to go through the quiz. It's Power Biz Quiz. And what it will do is help you to see where you're aligned with what you're doing in your business, like all aspects of your business, and where you might not be aligned as much. And in the end, after you've taken the quiz, you'll get an actual report that will come to you that will not only tell you, where you are in alignment, but it will also give you specific steps you can take to get back into alignment in each area of that business. And then ultimately, if you do finish the whole process, you'll have the opportunity to reach out and connect with me, and we can go over your information together, and I can give you some tips and insights about what I see and what you might do as your best next steps.
I love that. And, it's so important for business owners to be in alignment. And so it's really important that everybody head on over to bizsuccessin15.com/Lia. That's all lowercase Lia, but biz, B-I-Z, success, N-I-N, 1515.com/Lia, Lia. And then you'll be able to grab your Power Biz quiz and go through to see where you can be more aligned, because that is, to me, one of the number one keys to having your own happy and thriving business is being aligned. Lia, do you have any parting words for us?
Yes, thank you for asking. I really want to share with everyone, no matter where you are watching this, if you're watching this live, in the modern times that we're in right now, or, even a year from now, I want you to know something that the Oracle has always said to me and shared with me for the last 25 years, which is this really is your life. This is your business. You cannot mess this up when you are on purpose. So the most important thing is to know what your purpose is and follow it, because the universe wants you to win. It wants you to provide that one thing that only you can provide to help make the universe grow. So please know that you're already supported. Reach out and continue to take advantage of any opportunities you get, especially now, to be supported, and know that you are here on purpose.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you for being our guest today, Lia.
Thank you so much for having me, Cindy. I really appreciate being able to share this information, and I hope your audience will find it helpful too.
I'm sure that they will. And to our listeners, you want to hop on over to bizsuccessin15.com/Lia, and you'll be able to find all links from today's show, re-listen to Lia's words of wisdom, and catch up on any past episodes that you might have missed. While you're there, be sure to grab your own Power Biz quiz so that you can really get aligned with your purpose, your passion, and build a business that's completely aligned with who you are and your mission. So I hope you have a great week, and be sure to tune in next week for another great episode. Big hugs.
You've been listening to Biz Success in 15. For all links mentioned in today's show, and to watch or listen to previous episodes, visit bizsuccessin15.com. Thanks so much for listening, and be sure to tune in next week